Hi, my name is Julian, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit of my illustration process. A lot of my illustration process involves discovery, sketching, and finally executing the work that I want to do. Now, I do a lot of side projects. A lot of times it comes from inspirations from something that I've watched or something I've seen in the past, or something that just really piqued my interest, and I just want to learn how that illustrator or that artist, how that artist did it. And to me personally, that's how you learn anyway. That's what I normally do, and for this series I'm going to walk you through that process. And what better way to walk you through that process than one of the most beloved Marvel characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or even the Marvel comic book universe, Groot, or should I say Baby Groot. And for this series, we're going to see if we can take it all the way to the final step process by getting it ready for a particular con I will be a part of, MomoCon. If you're here in Atlanta, it's a great event. It's usually around Memorial Day weekend. Definitely look it up. I will post the link to the event in the show notes below. With that in mind, let's get started. Alright guys, let's get started here. Alright, so what I normally do is search for the simplest thing, which in this case, Baby Groot. And what I love about Pinterest, it will give you as much imagery as possible based on your subject matter. I love this tool. I think this is a part of every creative's arsenal. Judging from the things I'm going to be looking up here is I'm going to be looking at the body type, the overall structure of Baby Groot, the different positionings that he has in the movie, or the different interpretations in terms of, so that way I'm just fully aware of what I'm looking at. But I'm gonna speed along this process, but really just walk you through it. A lot of my searches involve as much of the curating of this character as much as possible. That can go from the expressions all the way up to how he looks in the movie. And it's really fun looking at how other artists have interpreted him as well. And I really love, how people also 3D model him. So with this 3D model design that I just saved, that gives me enough references to let you know, okay, his muscle tendons looks like this. If you were to grow any plants on him, it will probably look like more of a seedling or something like that. I don't know the proper biology term. I'm pretty sure it's called a seedling. And you just want to take it as far as you can with it as possible. And so it's just seeing all of his expressions, seeing him smile with no teeth. I can definitely see what ideas can spring up when I go into sketch mode. With that in mind, I really like the overall direction of where this character is going in terms of what I'm looking at here. And I think when anyone decides to work on a project like this, you want to gather as much imagery as you can. Normally, in a perfect world, I'll be going to Barnes and Nobles and gathering Guardians of the Galaxy books, but they're uber expensive, and I'm also trying to save money as informed you that I'll be doing an artist alley at MomoCon, and just getting prints done alone costs a bit of money, and you gotta know where to go to get stuff printed. And it's gonna be a new eye-opening experience for me, but I think I'm pretty psyched about it. It's funny, someone suggested that I should incorporate the adult Groot in this piece, and I'm trying to figure out the why for that. Because a lot of times, especially when someone suggests to introduce an old character or like another version of that character, you got to figure out your why. Like, how does this character push this piece? Does it hinder it? Does it tell a different story? Because a lot of times, when you work in illustration, and a lot of individual pieces kind of tell a story. If Groot is, tossing up music symbols up in the air, you kind of get a sense that, okay, this dude likes to dance. He loves the idea of music. So there's just so many ways to push this character in so many different ways. I mean, right now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I have him hold a boombox up, and he's like the John Cusack's character from Say Anything. That right there tells a story, because he loves music, or Peter Quill's music, for that matter. It's kind of interesting that all the characters look real except for him. Like, even Rocket Raccoon doesn't feel as though he's fake. It's only when you look at Groot, he's more cartoonish. Oh man, I really love the Saved by the Bell look here. And if you're too young to know what Saved by the Bell is, I really don't know how to express my feelings towards you right now. But, just the cassette tapes idea and just the overall sunset, really Miami Vice-esque, especially with all the pinks and yellows and blues. It's kind of interesting. But I don't think I'm going to push it that super 80s, because obviously it's 2017, but Peter Quill is pretty much stuck in the 80s, which I thought was kind of tragic. Looking at that movie again, I was like, man, you're talking about a man out of time, has no way of knowing what is going on planet Earth. That's disheartening. So I'm pretty psyched about Volume 2. I believe the reviews are starting to come in, but best thing to do is to close your ears on those, because everybody's going to have something to say about it, and you just want to go in there knowing that you're going to see a great movie. And I think I just passed by a Star-Lord or Starboy poster of Star-Lord. That's pretty funny. Groot on a whole bunch of sticks of dynamite. You just pick it because it's awesome. Someone got the tattoo of the character on there? Wow. Huh. Oh wow, Vin Diesel Groot. That is disturbing. That is super disturbing. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, curating images for references can take an hour, could take 15 minutes, depending on how much you really need, and it could take roughly 2 hours, because sometimes you gotta get real specific, just doing a serious deep dive into the internet. But luckily, what I love about Pinterest is that you can get so much for so little. Like, all I typed in was baby group, and if you just look at just the amount of imagery alone, I mean, it's pretty great. And then you're looking at some people's interpretations of it as well. So it's like, you don't have to be beholden to the actual thing, but you know, sometimes illustrators, depending on what type of illustrators, it's like some do very fantastical work where it's loosely looking like their character, but they're putting their own spin on it, which I think is important before you run into the copyright police, which I think I might do a video, but I might prefer doing a video with a lawyer who can better explain copyright laws and have a better understanding, because a lot of times people ride that fine line between fan art and, you know, the art of what the character actually looks like. I mean, yeah, I drew Superman, but you know, could I sell it at a con? I mean, as long as Jeff Johns is not there, I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. So I also tend to look at other illustrators' work, DKNG. Those two guys are awesome. I mean, a lot of their work is done using vectors, and I highly recommend using their taking their Skillshare class. I'll post it in the show notes below. But they cover like tips and tricks on how to navigate Illustrator, but also they give you tips and tricks on how to work with the some of their halftones choices as well, and some of their gig posters, which they look awesome. They have a very unique style. It's kind of interesting when I look at it as a whole. It's like, it's pretty strong stuff. But it's also important to look at what the illustrators who have their own pages, look at their inspirations as well. What makes them want to do the stuff that they do as well, because you might find out that they actually like the very same thing that you like. I really don't know how I feel if I were to do Baby Groot as that. I mean, they're very simple shapes. I mean, there is a way to break down his form into very simple shapes, but I don't know if I want to do that. That seems problematic. Let's see. Oh, that's real nice. You definitely do something very interesting in that style. I'll probably just save it for good measure. Friends with an artist who did like a series of portraits. Her name is Jacqui Oakley, and she did like a series of portraits for I think for a conference for each of the speakers, and I thought it was glorious. It's funny, college students, especially in the graphic design community, they usually state the simple fact that they can't draw. Now, I'm not expecting every graphic designer to be an illustrator. That's a hard road to go ahead, to jump ahead. So, I avoided that conversation. I may have to have one on this channel, or double up with someone else to really have a real conversation about it, because I have some disagreements on should students go to college, but I think it's important, but the level of education has changed, because now it's getting to the point where, what do I need to know? It's getting to that point now. What do I need to know to get to this point? And you're combating what the job market is really asking for, which is ridiculous sometimes. So let's see. So I picked out a Game Boy here, and I don't know. He could be playing it. I'm not sure, but I just picked it there because it definitely references the 80s. It definitely references some parts of my childhood that Peter Quill was a part of. I mean, I think his starts somewhat in 83, or at least his storyline starts in 83. I was born in 85, so. But the Game Boy was practically popular around my time I was born. So that'll be just up for interpretation. This ends the discovery segment of this video. The next video that we're going to do is going to be all about sketching. And this is where we take everything that we've seen thus far and try to putting it into something that we might be able to take it and digitize it. This is Julian Strayhorn signing off, and make sure you click that subscribe button and make sure you ring the bell to be notified for future videos. And also, keep grinding.